Welcome to the Application Lab. Today, we reviewed the Nevada Real Estate Education, Research, and Recovery Fund. Its standard abbreviation is the ERRF. This fund serves two main purposes. First, it provides a source of recovery for consumers holding an unpaid court judgment against a real estate licensee. Second, it supports real estate education and research administered by the Nevada Real Estate Division. The money for this fund is generated entirely through a special fee. Real estate licensees are the professionals required to pay into it. The fee is collected directly from these professionals when they first obtain their license, and again each time they renew it. This creates a system where the fees paid by active professionals directly finance consumer protection and ongoing industry education. The ERRF is not a general complaint pool where anyone can request a refund. It requires a specific legal prerequisite. A consumer must first obtain a final court judgment against a real estate licensee. That judgment must be based specifically on fraud, misrepresentation, or deceit. These terms refer to dishonest or misleading conduct regarding important facts during a real estate transaction. It is equally important to know what the fund does not cover. The fund is not available for real estate licensees who are seeking to recover unpaid commissions. It also excludes any claims made against owner-developers. The fund functions as a highly conditional safety net, exclusively for consumers harmed by deceptive practices, rather than general business insurance for the industry. Winning a qualifying final judgment in court does not automatically trigger a payout from the state. The consumer must take the next step by filing a formal petition. This petition must be filed within a stated deadline of 1 year after obtaining the judgment. The filing must take place in the exact same court where the original judgment was entered. The petitioner cannot simply bypass the offending licensee to get their money from the state. They must first attempt to collect directly from the licensee. The petitioner must show the court they made reasonable efforts to collect the debt. They must then prove that those collection efforts were ultimately unsuccessful. If a judgment holder collected part of the money from the licensee, they may still be eligible to request the remaining balance from the fund. This pathway ensures the ERRF operates strictly as a payer of last resort, accessible only after standard legal collection avenues have been exhausted. Even with a qualifying judgment and a timely petition, the state imposes regulated financial caps on the total recovery amount. The court may order a maximum payment of $25,000 for a single individual judgment. However, there is also a total lifetime liability limit attached to any one specific real estate licensee, capped at $100,000. If multiple victims hold judgments against the same licensee, their collective recovery from the fund cannot exceed that $100,000 limit, regardless of individual judgment sizes. To ensure money is available for these payouts, the state requires the fund to maintain an operational baseline. The fund must hold a minimum balance of $300,000 specifically for recovery purposes. At the end of a fiscal year, the fund may hold money in excess of that required minimum. These excess amounts may be diverted to the real estate division to pay for industry education and research. Using those excess funds requires explicit approval from the Real Estate Commission. These monetary caps protect the fund from depletion while ensuring that excess capital is continually reinvested into improving industry standards. When the ERRF pays out a claim on behalf of a real estate professional, there is an immediate regulatory consequence. The licensee's real estate license is automatically suspended. This suspension remains in effect until the licensee meets specific requirements to restore their status. First, the licensee must fully reimburse the fund for the exact amount that was paid out to the consumer. Second, the licensee must pay interest on top of that principal reimbursement. The required interest rate is set at prime plus 2%. Utilizing the fund functions as an interest-bearing debt that halts a real estate career until the financial obligation is completely satisfied. Exam recap. Claims require a final judgment for fraud, misrepresentation, or deceit. File within 1 year. Payouts max at $25,000 per judgment, $100,000 per licensee. Payment from the fund triggers an automatic suspension, requiring reimbursement at prime plus 2% before the license can be reinstated. The ERRF is a restricted consumer protection tool limited to qualifying judgments, not a general reimbursement fund. Follow the Application Lab for real estate concepts made simple. This content is for educational purposes only and should not be considered legal, financial, or professional advice. Always check current laws, regulations, licensing rules, and local requirements before making decisions.